Today we're going to talk about how to divide using the bus stop method. This is why I've got a bus stop in the centre of the page. When you're doing these division problems, you don't need to draw a picture of a bus stop. However, what is really good to draw when you're doing any division problems is a line going up the page and then a line going across the page as so. Therefore, your questions will look a bit like this. So the question we're going to start with is 636 divided by 3. You need to put the first number of the division in the bus stop. This is not always the largest, but in this case it is. You then need to put what you're dividing this number by on the outside of the bus stop. And the way I like to think of it is that the number on the outside, which in this instance is 3, wants to get into the bus stop. So you need to work out how many times this number goes into each of the numbers inside the bus stop one by one. So let's start the problem. So what we need to do is say, does 3 go into 6? If so, how many times? Luckily 3 does go into 6. And we know that 3 goes into 6 2 times. So we're going to write 2 on top of the bus stop. So now we go to the second part of the problem and we say, does 3 go into 3? It goes in, yes, and it goes in exactly once. The final operation we're going to say is, does 3 go into 6? And like the first example, it does go in and it goes in twice. So the answer to our question is 212. Let's look at another example. This time we're doing 684 divided by 2. So again, the first number of the division goes inside the bus stop and then the other number goes outside the bus stop. What we need to do now is ask ourselves, does 2 go into 6? Yes, it does. But how many times? It goes in 3 times. Then we need to see, does 2 go into 8? Indeed it does. This time 4 times, so we're going to put 4 on top of the bus stop. And then finally we're going to say, does 2 go into 4? This time it does, and it goes in exactly twice. So our answer to the problem is 342. The third example then, 684 divided by 4. This one is slightly more challenging than the previous 2 examples and we're going to see why. Let's put 684 in the bus stop. The reason why we do this is because it's the first number in the division. And then we're going to put the other number, as always, outside the bus stop. Can anyone put their hand up and tell me what is different about this problem? Hopefully you would have noticed that it's different because 4, which is the number outside the bus stop, doesn't exactly go into the first number. So let's see what happens. When 4 goes into 6, it goes in once, so we're going to write 1 at the top. But there's going to be a 2 left over. Can anyone put their hand up and tell me what happens with the remaining 2? Fantastic. We carry the 2 to the next digit along in the bus stop, so the 2 goes along to the 8. Next we say, how many 4s go into 28? Well, you'll hopefully see that 4 goes into 28 7 times. And then finally, how many times does 4 go into 4? Well, the answer is 1. So that is our answer, 171 or 171. The next example, again, will have to involve